You're watching News Central now on News Central Television. I am Likon Onobanjo. The top stories at this hour. Government dashes hopes of an end to constant electricity grid collapse in Nigeria. Zamfara airstrikes affected communities groan as army commences probe. Rescue operations for trapped illegal miners resume in South African mine shaft. Details to come your way shortly. And I'll start by telling you that the dreams of constant power supply in Nigeria may not be a reality in the near future. This is because the federal government has admitted that the national electricity grid will remain prone to collapse due to the government's inability to repair a crucial transmission line. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu, who spoke during the 2025 Budget Defense session with the Senate Joint Committee on Power, said the faulty Shiroro-Kaduna-Mando line, which is located in northern Nigeria, could not be fixed due to what he termed as persistent insecurity challenges. Shiroro-Kaduna-Mando line has been out of service since a vandalism incident in October 2024. Adelabu noted that failure of the line has placed immense pressure on the grid, leading to frequent collapses. The minister also disclosed plans to invest 36 billion naira in the distribution of transformers across the 6 geopolitical zones. We are now joined by the Executive Director of an Electricity Consumer Right and Power Sector Policy Advocacy Organization, Adetayo Adegbenle, and he joins me from Abuja. Thank you so much, Mr. Adegbenle, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good afternoon, viewers. Good afternoon to you two in the studio.
So what would you make of the statement from the Minister of Power as regards the incessant grid collapse?
I'm sure followers of my interviews and interventions in the sector are fully aware of my disposition to some certain things. I think it is rather an unfortunate acceptance of the situation of things. While he was able to say, "Oh, we will continue to have grid collapses," but he never at any point told us the interventions that they've been doing so far. We had 8 years already with the past administration. We have had another 2 years with their own administration, and we've had massive investment on the national grid. So it is rather unfortunate that the minister will come out and publicly tell us that, Nigeria should just accept grid collapse like that. Incidentally, I was reading a report about U.S. grid, and it's funny because there is a plan, there is a master plan that is being followed. There is, by 2035, the present national U.S. grid will have expanded by 50%. The cost of the investment has been built already, and there's already plans for that. So for the minister to turn around today to tell us that because of the grid line issue and the Mando Shiroro axis is what's going to keep the whole nation in the blackout, I think it does not paint a very good picture of what the ministry is doing about. And the funny thing is that TCN is the only arm of the power sector that is fully government. And in the last 10 years, we've had several interventions, World Bank loans. We've had the Siemens project deal that we've also spoken about severally. That Siemens deal alone promised to deliver for the phase one, supposed to promise to deliver about 7,500 megawatts before 2025. By 2024 has gone. We've had excuses of COVID. We've had excuses of the Russian-Ukraine war. We've had several excuses. So it is unfortunate, really unfortunate, that the minister will come out and publicly say that.
So does this amount to a bridge on electricity consumers' rights?
Absolutely, absolutely. There is this school of thought. I pardon my choice of word there, because when I say school of thought, it is still subject to, consumers will tell you it's our right. But yes, the moment we start paying for a service, it is absolutely our right to receive quality of service. So if, despite the fact that we've been complaining about the cost of investment in the sector, I personally went on air, even on your channel, to defend the removal of subsidy on Band A tariff customers. We're still saying that the removal of that tariff customer is not enough to cover up the shortfalls. We are still saying that we need to go to cost-reflective tariff so that you can have better quality of service. When we are still fighting for all those, that's why I said making such comments openly only says that if we allow tariff to be cost-reflective, because the government has not been able to plug in holes where it is leaking on their end, the consumers will continue to suffer, the brunt. It is not good enough, honestly. It's not good enough.
All right. So even as we see this negative impact of the failure of government to provide electricity in the country, and of course the government seems overwhelmed, are there other options that consumers can explore to at least power their businesses and homes?
Well, let me say something there. This is not so much more about the failure of government to provide electricity. It was the failure of government on the original NEPA old NEPA structure that led us to the present situation where we have a semi-privatized distribution and a fully privatized generation arms of the power sector, while the government still holds on to transmission. But over the years, we have seen how transmission has been one of the biggest challenges we have in the power sector. We are not able to effectively evacuate energy that GENCOs generate, which means that the GENCOs originally from beginning are not able to capture fully the cost of the production that they put in at the outset. So it's a big lacuna, which we should, speak to. And again, I'm going to say this, and it's something I've always been asking in different sectors, private platforms and forums where we speak. We need to sit down and audit what is happening in TCN. We need to sit down and audit the amount that they've spent on infrastructure, on transmission infrastructure, vis-a-vis the results that we're having. It is not, the measure is not equal at all. We're not getting values for our money, and it's rather unfortunate. Now, one of the issues that we discussed earlier this week, I think that was just on Sunday or yesterday, I think one of the newspapers came up with the report about a lot of companies going off-grid, generating their own power off-grid. Yeah, it's a big problem because they are going off-grid because the quality of the service that they're receiving on the grid is not good enough for the manufacturing sector. It's not good enough even for a lot of homes. So we have a lot of homes that have been going off-grid and going to renewable energy, going to solar and stuff. Well, but you see, major impact of all these people going off-grid is that our grid will continue to suffer. The people that are supposed to be anchor tenants, the people that are supposed to be the fee-paying tenants that can take large amount of the energy and leave the rest for consumers to pay up are no more on the grid. So what it also means is that our grid
Mr. Adetayo,
expensive.
Yeah, I understand. There's a lot you would like to say on this. It's a whole lot of challenge in the sector that the government will need to fix, and we hope that they can do that in earnest to ensure that life's optimal in terms of supply to the people. Thank you so much, Mr. Adetayo Adelabu, for sharing your
It's always a pleasure.
We appreciate that. Let's move on now. Nigeria's House of Representatives has reaffirmed its commitment to providing essential support to the nation's military in addressing the ongoing insecurity challenges across the country. The chairman of the House Committee on Army made this known following the budget defense of the Army, which was held as an executive session with the Chief of Army Staff and other senior officers.
We have analyzed and scrutinized the 2024 budget, and more importantly, before we move into 2025, we ask so many fundamental questions, particularly what is happening in the country and the way forward. And this is a security committee. They give us some security input, whereby we have to support them to see that in the next in a short of time, they have addressed the question of this insecurity largely in all over the country.
Away from that, we tell you that the Federal Capital Territory Administration has suspended the activities of scrap metal collectors, locally known as pantakers, for 2 weeks. This was after a Security Council meeting which was held in the nation's capital, Abuja, where the FCT Commissioner of Police informed newsmen of details of the meeting, saying the activities of scavengers have also been banned from residential areas and confined to only dump sites.
It has been decided that activities of all pantakers have been banned for 2 weeks. They have been banned for 2 weeks for us to profile them, to be able to be sure that only the legitimate operators will be working in pantaka. So they will be banned for 2 weeks, in effect from tomorrow, and we are going to profile them. Scavenging has been banned in the Federal Capital Territory, especially in the city centers. Their activities will only be limited to dump sites. Henceforth, the activities of scavengers have been banned within the city center of the Federal Capital Territory.
And to this sad story, residents of Papalada, a satellite community in Nasarawa State, say they remain shocked over the murder of Salome Adaidu by a youth in the community. They say the alleged murder for alleged ritual purposes, which has taken the headlines in the last 2 days, has cast fear on the community as many youths have fled for their lives. Salome was allegedly murdered by a youth in the community known as Timi Ajayi, who was apprehended with her head as he tried to deliver it to an unknown accomplice. Well, our Abuja Bureau Chief Amadin Uyi is at the community and will bring us more updates on this story. Good afternoon, Amadin. Of course, I'd like you to give us an update on the situation as regards the alleged ritual murder in the capital city.
The satellite community between the FCT and Nasarawa State, though it's actually in Nasarawa State. Now, this residence is where the culprit, the alleged suspected ritual killer, Timi Ajayi, he lives. We have not been able to gain access into the residence because it is locked, and we hear that the inhabitants, a lot of them have fled. But just come with me. This extension where there is a light, you can see the light source there. That is actually his room where he stayed before this incident. But just like I said, we've not been able to go through the gate, but this is his actual room. But we have been speaking to several members of the community along the streets who live here and who know him. So let's speak to Ruben Agbo. Mr. Ruben,
yes,
how
sir.
do you do?
I'm fine, sir.
Okay, first of all, the alleged suspect, do you know him? How well do you know him?
Yes, actually, I used to see him on this street. I used to see him in this community. I see him as a young gentleman, but I'm surprised at the way the news broke out, and I happened to witness things myself live on Sunday afternoon.
Okay, what is the mood like in the community when those living around here, when they heard that this happened actually on this street? How was the feeling like?
The feeling, everyone is scared, and everybody see the next person as a suspect, as it is now. Even not only this community, Orozo, Kerishe, even Navy Estate, which were this community, Papalana, is behind. The news is everywhere, that and everybody is just mourning. Everybody is mourning at the moment.
Okay, let's also take another young man who stays here. His own situation, he has been angry because he also lives along this street. Okay, Mr. Samson Omale. Samson, when you heard about this incident in this house, what was the feeling like?
Really, I didn't feel it so okay. It was so bad in me. In fact, I don't even know that she's my blood and the last age. So along the line, after 24 hours, I found out that my own cousin, my own brother, then came down from Nyanya down to where I'm living in Papalada. So the day I found out that this girl that I've been killed back on my house, she's my blood. We are the same family. We are for the same grandchildren in Okodu. That is in Omala Local Government in Kogi State. That in Okodu. This is where we come from. Really, I'm not happy and I'm not excited. The worst one is that she's my blood. She's my blood. I'm not happy. Let Nigeria, let government, let everybody that hear about this news, I beg, let them play justice. Because the guy, we are not even happy with him because the guy met me in this community. I'm here in this community for some years now. I'm married in this community, and I thank God today at least I build a little thing in this community.
Okay, Samson, hold on. Samson, you said earlier on that you know him. Can you describe who and how he is for Nigerians listening?
Well, I know this guy because where I know this guy is in behind on my house. And after I have a project that I'm taking after your own house. So you have a small bar that I used to see the guy that is opposite the house. That is opposite I'm doing a project. So normally anytime I'm seeing the guy, I'm seeing this guy almost 1 year plus now. This 1 year plus I'm seeing this guy. But this community, they started with us. So we know a new people that they are coming, and we know that we are living in that community. So we know ourselves. When this guy comes to this community, I know the guy. Because the house that the guy even is living there, the guy, I know the owner of the house, and I have project in that house.
Okay, but looking at him, will you believe that he can do something like this?
Yes, I can't say yes or no, but the guy, always you see the guy with chaos. Even we ourselves as the area men that he meets in the area, you understand, we never see this guy with a young man. We normally see with girl. Sometimes when we sit down in the bar, when the guy come around with babe, this guy normally hang around with babe every day and different girls every day. It's after this calamity, we know, so okay, this is an assignment. That is why he's dealing with girls every day. These are it is.
Okay, there are also reports that he's a gospel singer. Is it true or is just a farce?
It's after this conversation that is happening that people are start showing me on net that he's a gospel speaker. Even though I don't know the guy work, I don't know in duty, I don't know what he's doing. But sometimes he dress like someone that is abnormal.
You have heard it from some of the community members. The stories can go on and on and on. But one thing is clear, many of them here at Papalada community remain shocked. While some live in fear, others are angry. They say it's a quiet community, and because of this incident, the community has lost its innocence. News Central is on ground following up on this story, and will update you as more information comes in.
All right, thank you so much, Amadinui, for that report. It's a sad and gruesome way to die. And I can feel the anger in Samson's voice. We hope that justice will take its course and Salome Adaudu would find eternal rest. Of course, we move on the news anyway, even as we go on a break. When we return, we'll tell you about accidental bombing and the reactions that have followed this incident. To stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. We're still in the northern part of Nigeria, and we tell you that the Sokoto State Command of the Nigerian Immigration Service has pledged to bolster border security in response to threats posed by the emerging Lakurawa sect. State Controller Yusuf Bage made the commitment on Monday while addressing the leadership of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, who paid him a courtesy visit in Sokoto. Bage highlighted the security risks associated with the Lakurawa sect, describing it as a growing concern in the region. He noted that members of the sect often infiltrate the country through illegal entry points, further complicating efforts to maintain security. Bage emphasized the importance of effective border management, assuring that the command remains committed to safeguarding Nigeria's territorial integrity. Meanwhile, suspected members of the terror group Islamic State West African Province ISWAP have been on a rampage since the early hours of Sunday in Borno State. ISWAP members launched a deadly attack in Dumba, a community in Kokawa Local Council area, killing at least 40 farmers. Local residents who spoke to News Central Television say the terrorists stormed the farmers' homes following a disagreement over unpaid taxes. At least 2 people were also killed in a separate attack in Chibok by the terror group. In northeast Nigeria, farmers pay ISWAP thousands of naira so they can keep farming and feed their families. The taxes ISWAP collects from these farmers is one of the ways the terror group bankrolls its operations in the region. The exact number of casualties remain unknown, but the state governor, Babagana Zulum, has condemned the attack and called on the military to do all it can to secure the area. Away from that, Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's delay in releasing the list of ambassadorial nominees continues to raise concerns more than a year after the recall of 83 ambassadors in September 2023. News Central's Sagir Ibrahim reports that political lobbying for key postings, the need to observe federal character, and funding challenges are cited as major reasons for the delay. It brings us the details in this report.
If we knew we were not ready to replace these ambassadors and high commissioners, in the first place, there was no need recalling them. Planning should have been done, should be done pari passu. As you are looking at your embassies and foreign missions, you are also preparing who and who to post to some of these places when all administrative functions have been completed.
Ambassador Haruna Warkani, a retired historian and documentalist at the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, warns that the lack of planning could have far-reaching consequences for Nigerians in the diaspora.
Sometimes, when the voice of the ambassador is not heard, nothing happens, and Nigerians are the ones to suffer. And so you see plenty of Nigerians not enjoying diplomatic cover in some of these countries because of this absence of our ambassadors and high commissioners. Our trade, inflow and outward trade, surely will suffer.
While the government has mentioned funding as one of the reasons for the delay, he notes that such challenges are not unique to Nigeria.
Finance has always been a problem, and it will always remain a problem. There is no nation that does not face financial difficulties of this nature. So it's not peculiar to Nigeria. Nigeria is too big to be treated this way, too big to be ignored this way, and too big to be relegated to where we are today, as if we don't even exist in the world. It's pathetic.
Meanwhile, public affairs analyst Emmanuel Osemeka describes the issue as a clash between politicking and governance.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a man who is very sagacious when it comes to politics, but almost non-existent. He's always found wanting when it comes to governance. Any serious government will prioritize appointment and posting and funding of his ambassadorial positions. I was expecting that immediately, what's her name, Bianca Ojukwu was appointed. I thought that she was appointed so that she will be able to help with that lacuna.
He emphasizes that although there is no legal time frame for the posting of envoys, prolonged delays can be detrimental.
The law is actually very silent because these are political appointments, and the law does not criminalize or impede the president when he does not appoint ambassadors. But the impact is really heavy. The impact is to the extent that the host country will most likely not take you seriously.
In a response via chat, the Special Advisor on Media at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Al-Qasim Abdul Qadir, reaffirmed that the posting of ambassadors is the prerogative of Mr. President, as they are his envoys abroad. He added that President Bola Tinubu would appoint ambassadors within the shortest time possible and that the 2025 budget includes provision for these appointments. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs allocated 66 billion naira for capital expenditure and 286 billion for recurrent expenses in the 2025 budget is under scrutiny for inadequate funding of foreign missions, issues that could undermine the current administration's 4D principles of democracy, development, demography, and diaspora. In Lagos, Sagir Ibrahim for News Central.
Let's now take you to Lagos now, where the State's House of Assembly has impeached its Speaker, Mudashiru Obasa. Obasa was removed for allegedly arriving late to legislative meetings and other improper behaviors, like inciting his fellow lawmakers against one another and for reportedly spending 17 billion naira to construct assembly complex fences, to name a few allegations. Meanwhile, Obasa has denied any wrongdoing and has described the allegations as funny and fake. He added that the allegations stem from the fear of some people over the 2027 election year. Obasa also refuted claims that the House spent 200 million naira on its recently organized 22nd Thanksgiving service for staff. Meanwhile, the Lagos State House of Assembly has replaced the former Speaker with his deputy, Lasbat Meranda, and elected the Deputy Chief Whip, Fatai Mojid, as the Deputy Speaker. Meranda will be the first woman to serve as the Speaker of the Lagos House of Assembly since 1979. 7 men have previously held the position. In 2015, Meranda was elected to the Assembly as a lawmaker representing the Apapa constituency, and she is currently serving her 3rd term. Before joining the Lagos Parliament, she worked as a political aide in Apapa Local Government Area between 2008 and 2014. She began her career in the private sector and was born on August 16, 1980 in Lagos. Earlier, Adeyemi Ikuforiji, the former Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, joined us on Breakfast Central and issued his insights on this latest development.
The seat of the Speaker is a very hot one, and one should not just get complacent with it. You should not take it for granted. You should not take members for granted, because it's the contribution of all the other 39 members that make your seat comfortable. If any of them feels bad with you or is aggrieved, your seat is getting shaken already. That's, if I expected this, yeah, I think with events that have been unfolding over time, it's not out of place to expect that there will be a change of pattern in the leadership of the House.
When you say events, what are these events that you're speaking about?
Well, from what we hear from members and what we observe, I think Speaker Obasa was getting too comfortable on his seat, and he has also he has moved out of that what we call the path, you know, that you must tread as, you know, just first among equals.
Now, to shed more light on the personality of the new speaker and the build-up to the impeachment, we have Taiwo Olokpade, who joins us live in our studios. He's a public affairs analyst. Thank you so much, Mr. Olokpade, for gracing our studios.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for having me.
So, Mr. Olokpade, are you surprised when the news of the impeachment broke?
Well, it depends on which side of the coin that you belong. For some, it could have come as a surprise, and for some, maybe they saw the handwriting, written on the wall. And if you go by the development in the last couple of years, if people had also predicted that the former speaker may be impeached very soon, then they may be right with that prediction or with that assumption. Because we saw a time when, number one, when the governor sent a list of commissioner nominees to the House of Assembly for screening and for approval. We saw the drama that played out, during that screening. Of course, it is not compulsory that every other message from the governor to the House, either at the state level or at the national level, should just go bypass. But we saw a kind of politicking during that screening of the commissioner nominees. And the one that broke the camel's back was when the governor last year, December, presented the budget of the state before the House of Assembly. The governor was kept waiting for hours, within the confines of the State House of Assembly. Likewise, some leaders of the party were also waiting, for the speaker to announce their arrival into the chamber for the governor to make presentation of the 2025 budget. And there was also a comment made by now former Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly that many political watchers and many members of the ruling party in the state also find so very uncomfortable. Of course, he has the right to, to be ambitious. He has the right to say, I want to contest.
Yeah, Mr. Lokade.
Yeah.
Yes, so I was going to get to that point because this is not the first time that the former speaker will be accused of financial impropriety. Does it have to do really with the alleged or purported ambition to be the governor of the states? Of course, that's what has been speculated. Or it has to do with the fact that we've not really seen due diligence in terms of prosecuting allegations of corruption in the states?
Well, from what we saw on the floor of the House yesterday, members said the member alleged misappropriation of funds. Member also alleged gross misconduct on the part of the former Speaker, Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa. They also alleged his late attendance to plenary and other state matters. Those allegations alone, of course, could be a justifiable reason for them to say, dear Speaker, please excuse us, your time, you have had your time. And for 2025 governorship election, the House categorically said that the impeachment has nothing to do whatsoever with 2027 governorship election. But politicians, you can never believe them in total. Okay. But the allegation leveled against him, and I'm happy that the former speaker is also responding to say, I didn't spend 200 million naira on a Christmas celebration. I didn't spend amount of billion naira on erecting the gates, leading to the State House of Assembly. Will we continue to see stories unfold in the coming days? Because we are yet to see the end of this latest impeachment of the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly.
All right, Mr. Olokade, let's now look at the new Speaker, the first female Speaker in Lagos State, relatively young, born in 1980. Of course, she's not new to the game of legislative processes. So how will you describe her, and what do you think her tenure would be while being in charge?
Well, from your own intro, on the new Speaker, the first female Speaker, so to say, for the Center of Excellence, Right Honorable Mojisola Meranda, of course, is from a royal family, and he came into the House of Assembly during the 2015 general election, and for now she is a third-timer in the State House of Assembly, and she was the Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly before, shall I say, she became the Speaker of the House of Assembly just yesterday by providence or by luck. She has been somebody who has worked within the confines of Apapa Local Government Area. And from the record that she has posted ever since being in the House of Assembly, we see her as somebody who is very intelligent, somebody who is very calm, and somebody who is also a team player. That's one thing that also contributed rather to the exit of the Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, because we also heard from some of the members complaining that the Speaker was becoming something like a demigod or something like, at the point that they even said they even find it difficult sometimes to also access him. Forgetting that just one among equal, you're being elected as the Speaker doesn't mean that you are now above your member. You are even at this, become the Speaker at the pleasure of your members. Anyone could have been.
Of course, a lot of people
also not underrate is the Speaker that has been impeached as being the longest serving currently among the members. He was elected into the House of Assembly in 2003. And
Mr. Taiwo, thank you. Mr. Taiwo, thank you. A lot of people would have hoped that the former Speaker would have been circumspect in his dealings on the floor excuse me, of the House. But then, Mr. Taiwo Lokbade, thank you so much for your time on the news.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's go on a very short break. When we return, we'll bring you the rest of the stories. Looking at other stories now, the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hasan Abubakar, has deployed a high-level fact-finding team to Zamfara State over alleged accidental bombing of civilian casualties during Saturday's operation by the Nigerian Air Force in the state. So we are going to bring you more stories on that in our subsequent bulletins. But right now, we have Bongana Siziba, who is actually monitoring the situation about the rescued illegal miners in Stilfontein, South Africa. And we understand that authorities, that is government representatives, are about to give their speech as regards what happened and what will be done in terms of those that have been rescued so far and the ongoing rescue operations for those still trapped in the mine shaft. So let's see if we can talk to Bongani Siziba at this time. Bongani, good afternoon to you. What updates do you have for us?
Good afternoon, Lincoln, and also a very good afternoon to our viewers. Unfortunately, the two ministers that were here have just left. What we saw earlier on, it was an exchange of words between the community members and the minister just after their address that we couldn't take live because of the network. And earlier on, we also saw some of the miners that were coming from that shaft number 10, very physically weak, and we could see that they've been starving for a long time. But let me bring in someone just to speak about the exchange of words that we just witnessed here. And I can tell you that the minister had to leave before he even addressed the community. Why did the minister leave? What was happening exactly here?
He basically doesn't want to face the cruel reality and the consequences of the sin of his crime. He has killed people. These miners who died here, all of them, their deaths are in his hands. The decisions that he took with the apparatus around him, with his cabinet, and they need to be held to account for that. And the idea that we're going to come here and speak with them nicely and so on, these people have lost not just numbers, right? These people, the miners that are dying underground, there are just numbers to them. These are their fathers, these are their sons, these are their brothers. These people means a lot to them. They've lost them. No amount of words and comfort is going to bring them back and so on. So the idea that he expects us to roll a red carpet on him, he's mad. He's not going to see that. And what is going to happen is that we're only going to escalate our protest. The reality is that we are going to hold them accountable, because it cannot be right that hundreds of black working class people do die with complete impunity and there is no accountability.
And this, we are calling this, as you have rightfully said before, that this is now a massacre. Do you think the government will take account of what happened here?
Well, it is up to us to hold them accountable. From where we stand, we don't need their opinion on that issue. We charge them of the mass murder of these miners, and we are absolutely clear about that. Whether we get justice or not is a different issue. It obviously depends partly on the institutions that are still under their control, but we will have our day. Reality is that all what has happened here again and again remind us that this government, this establishment, this system of mining monopoly capitalism in this country, it has got to go because it's murderous, and of course it has brought nothing but devastating levels of suffering, unemployment and poverty in this country and in these communities.
Lincoln, I just want my camera person to just show you the community members who are here, who have been waiting for the ministers to address them. But once again, the government, the ministers have blue-ticked these community members, and they are not happy about this, about what has been happening. And also, we are not seeing the government being accountable for what has happened here. But the rescue operation continues here at Stilfontein Mine. Now we have heard that at least 36 miners have been rescued from the mine, and 9 bodies again, so which means the number are growing, and it's good that at least we are seeing these miners being helped, being rescued. It's back to you in the studio now.
All right, thank you so much, Bongane Sizeba, for that update. Definitely we'll track back with you to get more details as regards this particular situation in Stilfontein, South Africa. Of course, we'll go on a very short break. When we return, we'll bring you sports news. In sports, we tell you that San Diego Wave FC has signed Nigerian sensation Chiamaka Okuchukwu. The 19-year-old teenage striker joins the club from Nigeria's Rivers Angels FC. Okuchukwu comes with impressive credentials, having recently starred for Nigeria's under-20 national team at the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup in Colombia. There, she netted 2 goals and provided an assist across 4 matches. Wave FC sporting director Camille Ashton praised the young forward's potential, noting her skill set will complement the team's existing attacking lineup. The 1-year deal is pending medical clearance and visa approval. Okuchukwu made history as one of Nigeria's youngest national team players, representing her country at the age of just 16 in the 2022 Under-20 World Cup. And that's all at this hour on the news. But before we go, we'll look at our top stories again. Government dashes hopes of an end to constant electricity grid collapse in Nigeria. Affected communities groan as army commences probe into Zamfara airstrikes. We also told you that rescue operations for trapped illegal miners has resumed in South African mine shaft. Well, don't forget to watch the news Central live on DSTV, channel 422, Star Times, channel 274, Evo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekon Onobanjo.